Welcome back to a special edition here at the 410. My name is Adrian Pope, and as promised, I have a special guest for us here that's traveled all the way out here to 410 Studios to give us his presence, y'all. Mr. William Maxwell. And I know you're over there saying, I don't know this guy right here. Who is this guy, right? Well, we're going to back up 2 seconds, and we're going to talk about another gentleman that I love dearly, Mr. Art Modell. If you notice right here, we have a nice picture of Mr. Modell sitting here. And if you don't know who Mr. Art Modell is, he's responsible for all this purple and black in the city right now. Mr. Modell moved the Cleveland Browns in 1996 to Baltimore, which was a very controversial situation going on in Cleveland. But guess what? I don't care. I love the Ravens, so I'm glad that he did that. And he brought them here and turned around and brought us a championship right here to the city. And at the end of the day, his love for Baltimore was unmatched as far as I'm concerned. He did so much for this city. And Mr. Maxwell, this gentleman got to sit side by side with Mr. Modell for years as his personal security guard. And that's why he's sitting here today. He wants to tell us all about Art Modell, the real man behind the Ravens coming to town. Thanks again, Max, for coming through, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. A pleasure to see you,
It's
brother.
a beautiful studio. I'm humbled to be here. Thankful to be here.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We work real hard to keep this thing up for guys like you to come down here and enjoy it, man. I tell you. First off, real quick, like I said, we Art Modell, with the utmost respect, may he rest in peace. He passed away just a few years ago, so I know that was near and dear on your heart there. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Maxwell.
So it's simple. My story is very simple. I actually grew up in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Modell is
also
from
Brooklyn, New York,
Hey,
which a lot
man,
of people don't know, right? So we had many conversations about that. Probably a different Brooklyn when I grew up than when he grew up, for sure. So from there, we moved to Maryland, late 80s, early 90s. Went to high school at Western Tech. Shout out to the Wolverines, class of 98. Dominic Foxworth also went to Western Tech. I played football with his brother.
Dominic Foxworth, big-time cornerback for the boys. Yes,
definitely,
indeed.
Definitely. My junior year of high school, I going to the military. Went to the Army.
Okay.
Cool experience. I was an MP in the Army.
MP in the Army.
So I love it.
And you know I'm a Marine. So,
right,
I mean,
absolutely.
I'm sorry that you got trapped off in the Army, but hey, you know, you still was able to provide great service to the country, man. I appreciate that.
Hey, man, I appreciate your service.
Would say ooh-ah?
Definitely. Cool. So my journey started. I did nearly 8 years.
Okay. You went active duty for 8 years as an MP. And what bases were you stationed at?
Oh, I had a blast. I was definitely had my local Fort Meade.
Okay.
Fort Lee, Virginia.
Okay.
My absolute favorites, Fort Sam Houston and San Antonio, Texas.
And so let me ask you this real quick because, you know, I hear a lot about Texas, right? Tell me a little bit about why is it that was your favorite base out of all of them?
So, if I have to be totally honest, we had...
That's all I want you to do here on the 410, man. That's it.
We had overstaffed amount of MPs, so it was about 120 of us.
Okay.
There was some issues, and there was a lot of us.
Okay.
So we had more leisure time than work time, right?
Yeah.
So we got to check out the Riverwalk, different spots. It's Corpus Christi, Houston, Dallas. You know, I got to see everything.
Okay.
It was a beautiful place. The climate was beautiful. True story, when I was down there, it was the first time they had an ice storm. I guess that was 01, 02. And they said, y'all from East, y'all brought this ice storm.
And I was just going to say, down south, for those of y'all who haven't been down south, if there's any precipitation in the air that's frozen, it's over. The city's shut down. People done bought all the milk, eggs, toilet paper, everything for 1 inch of snow.
You hit it on the head. They didn't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole city shut down. Everybody was chilling. We was like, okay, what we going to do? We used to this. This is nothing. So it was a great experience, though. It was one place that I can honestly say that I miss. I go back. I would have stayed 20 years in the Army. I stayed in San Antonio.
Okay.
But I probably would have got the opportunities I had along the way.
Sure. And then, like I said, me being in the Marine Corps, I totally understand, you know, being out of town and getting to enjoy that culture out of town and stuff like that, which kind of leads me to, hey, you circling back to Baltimore, we getting out of the Army, so what leads me, how did we end up to getting the Art Modell from all of that there? How did that happen?
I always feel like it's all about timing, right? Everything in life is about timing. When you come across people in life, it's all about timing. I literally didn't really have a transition plan outside of the military, what I was going to do. I wanted to get in law enforcement, security, something like that. But I was at the gas station. It was was a guy that I knew from the military.
Okay.
And he said, "Hey, Max." I said, "Hey, you know," when we started talking, he told me that it was a 4-man security group. They only had 3. They needed 1 more person to provide in-house security for Mr. Modell. He said, "Are you interested?" And I'm thinking, heck yeah, I'm interested.
This is a lifetime opportunity, right? Yeah. Facts.
So we set it up. I actually had my in-person interview at the Modell's house.
Okay, right. So back up 2 seconds. So the interview's in the house.
At the house.
At his house.
At his house.
Is it on the couch? I mean, is it in the kitchen? Like, is it on the back in the backyard? Where's this interview taking place at?
We're going to the house. Obviously, he lived out in Baltimore, kind of Padonia area.
Yeah. Right? Okay. Padonia Road. Okay.
Area.
Yeah. Okay.
Huge house. I mean, elevator, you name it. Beautiful house, right? So I was intimidated, right? You pull up to the driveway, you see all these luxury cars. I'm from the military. I had a Isuzu Rodeo, right? Isuzu Rodeo.
God bless your Isuzu Rodeo.
I had my Isuzu Rodeo.
Yes.
So I'm like, man, it's a little intimidating, but I'm here, right? Suited up, booted up, gun in my holster.
Okay.
In the suit, and it was in his sitting area of his bedroom. That's where the interview took place.
Right in the bedroom.
He was sitting in his chair. And
this is how billionaires do it, y'all. They conduct interviews in the bedroom, y'all. So one day I aspire to have the interview in my bedroom. Then I know I made it. No doubt.
Mrs. Modell was sitting in her chair, which is usually off to his right. He sat in his chair. But they were so warm, right, when I sat there. And for people who don't know, Mrs. Modell, God rest her soul, she was an actress in Bonanza.
She was in Bonanza?
She was in Bonanza.
I didn't know that.
She wrote the stagecoach.
I didn't know that.
She would tell me stories about it. And her question to me was, do you have a gat? I wasn't really sure what a gat was.
She been watching movies.
Do you have a gat? And I said, she said, this thing here, right?
Pew pew.
So I said, so I opened my suit up. She said, wow, that's a big gat. I mean,
yeah.
And, it was a very simple interview. It was kind of, will you protect me and my family at all costs?
And look, nowadays you would have had to say pause behind that, right?
Right.
Right. But
they were so warm and genuine. I felt immediately like family.
Really?
And that's the one thing I could say about him was every moment was a very personal moment.
Because I'm here to tell you, man, the people in Cleveland hate Art Modell with a passion, for the most part.
And
I mean, he got rid of Jim Brown. He got rid of D Brown. So, I mean, they're upset about that. You know what? Thank you. Once again, I appreciate all of that down there, Mr. Modell. We wanted the Ravens. We took what y'all had in Cleveland, and we made it better. So just appreciate that.
And I think that's the main thing with them. I sat up one night. We were sitting in his chair. I came down the hall. He called me down the hall. And, again, I sat in the house, down the hall, just kind of making sure everything was – I didn't watch cameras or any of that. But he was always up at night. Like, nothing couldn't put him to sleep, right? So we would sit up talking. And I remember one night very clearly we were watching the show. It was 10 Reasons to Hate Art Modell. It was on ESPN.
10 Reasons.
And, I'm getting angry because I'm a part of his world. So I'm looking at it with, some type of
you're there to protect him. So at the end of the day, if they're assaulting him, whether it's physically, verbally, you're going to take that, personally, for sure.
And, one of the messages he shared with me that night was, he says, it doesn't bother me because what I did for the city of Cleveland, they don't have an idea, right? He said to run the lights in the stadium per game, $1 million some dollars, right? He said a lot of this as an owner, they're paying for this stuff out of their own pocket.
$1 million for the lights, y'all. That's serious.
For one game, right? So
one game.
So water, all these things.
And I'm complaining about my light bill.
Right, right. And he said, obviously Baltimore offered him an offer he couldn't refuse, right? So he said, we'll give you a stadium, we'll take care of these things. Why not, right? He said, it doesn't bother me. So those are kind of conversations we would sit up late night having just to see how he got here.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I mean, I can't even imagine what it's like to sit next to somebody of that status. But I'm sure, like you said, going to get him some bread, put some butter on the toast, stuff like that.
Right.
It normalized.
We talked about that story.
Yeah. Right.
True story. I'm down the hallway and I'm chilling. Again, I was watching something late night. He calls me on the intercom, and everybody calls me Max, but he called me Willie. Him must have called me Willie.
Okay.
So he said, Willie, can you come down here for a minute? So I go down to his room. Hey, sir, you good? Usually I'll be in a suit and tie or something. I wear a Ravens polo.
Right.
Whatever. But I was real casual that night. We was talking. He said, I don't want to ask you this because he did have a live-in chef named Jim who lived upstairs.
Okay.
So Jim was usually off and didn't really have to worry about nothing once I came in the evening. So my schedule was 7 at night to 7 in the morning, 7 days straight.
Okay.
So I worked 84 hours on and I had a week off. So I spent a lot of time at their house, right? And it was 2 of us that covered nights and we alternate nights and 2 guys in the morning. but we were his guys, 24/7.
And I'm sure he had a favorite one or two of y'all out of the crew that you know what I'm saying.
I'm not gonna say who that was.
Yeah, but you know what? And I had to go back 1 second because it's something that we talked about and we haven't talked about it real quick, and I have to make sure that this goes out. So, Max gets hired by Mr. Modell. Max, please tell them. Mr. Modell, he handed you a business card, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes.
Can you please tell them how that whole situation went down after Mr. Modell handed you his business card?
So it was funny because we were talking about vehicles. And he asked me, what do you like?
Because you had that at Suzu Rodeo.
I had the Suzu Rodeo, right? I love the Suzu Rodeo. Yeah, Rams, everything.
You kept them clean.
I kept it clean.
You kept them clean.
But he asked me, he said, well, what kind? He says, well, I'm not really familiar with a Suzu Rodeo. I said, well, it's kind of like a...
I'm still trying to figure out how you even fit in at the Suzu Rodeo. But go ahead.
Well, I'm a little smaller than him, right? It wasn't quite in the jeans, right? But it was cool. My Suzu Rodeo was cool.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
He said, you know, go out and get whatever you want. You know, what would you like to drive? I'm thinking, Mercedes, Jaguar. So my vehicle I ended up getting was a brand new Jaguar X-Type, right?
X-Type.
And I was 24 years old, so I was moving through the city at a different pace than my peers, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it was cool. But I will say this, getting back to the bread story, right?
Okay,
Going
okay.
He says, could I have some toast with butter and some chocolate milk? But he didn't drink Nestle. He liked Ovaltine, right?
Had to have been Ovaltine.
Had to be Ovaltine. I whipped him up a little scoop, mixed it up, made him some toast with butter, took it down the hall. And he said, this is the best slice of butter and toast I've ever had. Right?
That's a man appreciating the finer things in life, right?
Yep, so I ended up making him another slice because he said he wanted one more, and it was after midnight. Right? I mean, probably typically not what he should have done, but I was there. He became almost like a grandfather to me. Right?
Okay, I can understand that
because I spent so much time with him. So whether it was helping him, get out of suit jacket or whatever, just making sure he was good. Because at that time he had just had some medical issues, right? So he had his walker and stuff. So whatever he needed, I was there for him. I didn't treat him like he was, he was my ward. I had to protect him every second. We talk like I'm talking to you right now.
Right,
it was like my conversation. He's really laid back. Yes, he's a person that people don't know. When I would get there in the afternoon, in the evenings, he's sitting there with mustard and a hot dog all over his shirt, right? He didn't care about the caviar. Now, Mr. Modell did like the caviar.
He liked the caviar. Me, I'm not a fan of the caviar, but
yeah,
Mrs.
hey. But Mr. was like, just give me a hot dog, sausage, mustard on my shirt.
Good with that.
I'm good with that, right? And I did try the seaweed. I tried all the stuff that it had. It's acquired taste, right?
No, I'm good with the caviar, no doubt.
He definitely made Christmas is amazing.
Okay.
Modell House. I mean, he usually was in an envelope, $5,000 in cash. Envelope. You say, man, you know what? What?
So
right?
So when he put $5,000 in the envelope, was there a card in there, or was just the $5,000 in the envelope?
A smiley face on the envelope.
A smiley face on the envelope.
Willie with a smiley face.
I don't want any cards. I just want smiley faces this year, y'all.
Right.
Just all smiley faces.
So when I think about him, spending that much time with him, he just left me with so many lessons about life, right? True story. He went to hospital. I went to the governor's house, and he had an accident, like hit the chair or something. And
okay.
John Hopkins wanted to make sure he was good, so I stayed at the hospital with him, make sure he was good. And the one lesson he left me with, he said, if you don't have love and happiness in this lifetime, you have nothing at all. It's kind of hard when you hear that from somebody who's worth that much money, $500,000, almost $1 billion.
Right.
But I watched the dynamic that he treated his family, Mrs. Modell,
okay,
David Modell, John Modell, right? Gwee, Jim, like everybody in his family, he really took care of, right? He really made sure that we were working for him, but he also wanted to make sure we were happy.
Good.
Right? And that was crazy. And one night he said, Willie, what would you like? You could have one thing. I was quick, $1 million, right? He did what he laughed, right? He said, no, really, what would you like? I said, sir, when I'm not working for you, I would like to go to more of the Ravens games.
Okay.
And
as we all would love to be down at Ravens games. Yeah, right, absolutely,
and,
absolutely.
So he just smiled, nodded his head. He said, okay, kiddo, I'll let you know what I decide I want to do.
Right.
I said, sir, it's just conversation. I didn't really take it seriously. So the next day I'm driving around, and I get a call from Sam, who ran Modell Ventures.
Okay.
And she said, Willie, can you come down here? I need to talk to you.
Right.
So I'm panicked because I'm thinking maybe something happened.
Oh no.
So I'm 100 miles an hour, right? The Jags 100 miles an hour
right.
down the road. I get there. And I remember the emotion because I was very exasperated. I was like, "Is he okay? Is everything okay?"
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Relax. He's okay, but he wants me to give you something." And I said, "Well, what is that?" And she hands me an envelope with all the preseason tickets, 2 each, and all the regular season games in and out of the state. And all they say is Modell on the ticket.
That's it.
I mean, I can sit wherever I want, any stadium, at any game.
I need a Modell ticket, yo. I need that.
And I'm going to tell you, it touched me emotionally. Like, when I got to see him that evening, I said, "Sir, wow." And he says, "Are you happy?" And I hugged him, right? I'm pretty sure it was a tear of mine. I was still trying to be in my masculine energy, right?
Yeah. He probably like, "Max, get off of me, man.
Right.
You know how big you are, man. You can't be squeezing me like that."
But I hugged him because
Fact.
You really saw the human side of him, right? You saw his gestures. Even when he was in the hospital, he told me to take the nurse out on a date, handed me $200 out of his pocket, out of his wallet.
And even when he's sitting there in the hospital, he's still thinking about somebody else,
He's still thinking
man.
about other people. And that's what I think, for me, talking to you about it, is the stuff people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did have Cleveland fans that hated him. I would check the phone calls, and after 11 o'clock at night, he was not supposed to answer phones. So I answered the phone. And it would be like, "Oh, this is Ray Lewis. Let me speak to Art." Well, Ray Lewis is not calling at 11 o'clock.
Right.
And I would trace the phone call.
Okay.
Through the trackers. And it was usually somebody from Cleveland, Ohio.
It was always somebody from Cleveland.
I was on high alert because now I don't know if you're outside his residence or you just calling from Cleveland. But now I'm laser focused now to make sure there's
LeBron, you got to get these people together up in Cleveland, man. What are they doing, man? Calling the owner at 11 o'clock at night talking about they Ray Lewis.
Right.
Stop.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But at that point, I'm laser focused and make sure that no one brings harm to his family because, yes, it was a business that I was involved in as executive protection, bodyguard work, but it turned into a family. It turned into a friendship, right? It was a friendship for me. So protecting him was very personal for me.
Well, I'm going to tell you this right here, Max. I appreciate you, the years that you spent protecting that man, because obviously, like I just said, if it wasn't for Art Modell, there would be no Ravens here in town. So that guy right there, he gets my utmost everything. And the fact that you were able to sit there in tandem with him that many years and get to see that man for who he was, that means a lot to me. And it's very special for me to be sitting here talking to you, man. And real quick, though, I wanted to do this, though, because you were on the field when we had some of the best defensive players in the history of the NFL. So while that was going on, I just want to, I'm curious. Out of that bunch, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, you Suggs, you start naming all these guys, which one of those guys left the most impression on you over the years?
So that's a tough one, right? Because not only did I see them maybe around the field or things like that, but I also worked out with some of them in Energy Fitness in Randallstown.
Okay.
So Mark Clayton, Musa Smith, Jarrett Johnson. I see these guys working out in routine. I'm not going to lie to you. When I saw Mark Clayton, I was thinking, man, I could take you. Right? I could take you, Mark. Mark, hey.
He was a speedster, man. He was a speedster. Right? Come on now.
But,
he wasn't in the trenches.
He wasn't in the trenches, right? But seeing those talent, I mean, they were the most cool, down-to-earth guys. But when they flipped that switch on game time,
it's time to go.
It was time to go, right? They were dogs on the field.
Well, I need to see that switch get flipped this year, but we're gonna get into that later on another episode. We need to switch that flip that switch this year and make it happen.
Legendary team.
Max, I can't even tell you how much of a pleasure it is to have you down here. I really do appreciate you coming, like I said, and do you appreciate the studio, man, how it looks, man?
Look, I'm looking like this. I'm coming back.
You coming back?
I'm coming back.
Well, you always welcome, Max, just so you know, man.
There's something I want to talk about, especially when it comes to the Ravens of football.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of the game.
Well, I'm going to see what we can figure out, man. I mean, once again, we got room for you here at the 410 all day long, for sure. So we're going to see what we can do about that, Max.
I'm with it.
Man, once again, thank you for coming.
Appreciate you.
And I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more Max here shortly. Once again, Mr. Maxwell is the man sitting there with Mr. Modell, making sure he was good. You see him holding up the Lombardi trophy, y'all. We need another one this year,
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact. So while we looking at that, let's get motivated. Preseason coming. Me, Max, Parlay Tay, we going to be down there to see what y'all got going on. Until then, y'all please stay safe. I love you all for tuning in here to this special edition of the 410. Mr. Maxwell graced us with his presence. Thank you once again, sir.
No problem.
Catch y'all soon.